Even though will be the third go-round for some involved with the film, this will be the first time that Carrie-Anne Smith, who grew up in Linwood, will be credited as a co-producer on a motion picture during her more than 20-year movie career and her first time working on the series.
The producer that Smith typically worked for left the company, Sony Pictures Imageworks, so it made sense for her to step into that co-producer role than to work with someone new as a digital producer.
Smith received her promotion from digital producer to VFX producer at Sony Pictures Imageworks at the same she started working as a co-producer on Hotel Transylvania 3 in October 2016.
The digital producer works more closely with the crew, and I loved the interaction with many people and leading the team. At times, I would have 400 people on the movie, and I knew most of them. As a co-producer, you work more closely with the director and production designer and VFX supervisor, Smith said.
In Hotel Transylvania 3, Dracula and his family, both monster and human, and friends take a vacation on luxury monster cruise ship. Smith was in the last graduating class of the Atlantic City Friends School in 1988. Her Aunt Kate was the one who encouraged her to move to Pittsburgh to see if she could break into film work there, Smith said.
There were a lot of studios shooting in Pittsburgh in the early 90s, and it was much easier to break into film there than Los Angeles. It was more accessible and less intimidating. I was also closer to home and easier to move back if I failed. I basically got a job as a set PA, production assistant, the day I drove into town, Smith said. The wife and mother of two served as a digital producer at Imageworks on Alice, Through the Looking Glass, Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, Men in Black 3 and all three of the original Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. Smith has worked on action, fantasy, science fiction and comic book movies because they have the greatest need for visual effects.
Smith worked to secure and manage the visual effects team that worked on Spider-Man 2 and had to keep the work on track. That 2004 movie won the Oscar in 2005 for Best Visual Effects.
After we won the Oscar, we went to the Vanity Fair party. We didn't have an invitation, but we were told that the Oscar could get us into any party, so a group of 8 to 10 of us went to try it and sure enough it was true. We sailed in past security and the press holding the Oscar and mingled with all the stars. It was pretty amazing, Smith said.
With Smith's first co-producing credit after more than 20 years in the movie business, she said she would like to hire more women and work with more women directors, producers and production designers.
There were a lot of great women in positions of power on Hotel Transylvania 3, and it was pretty thrilling to be able to work alongside them and learn from them. At some point in the project, we were in a pretty intense scheduling meeting, and I looked around the room and realized the majority of the people working through the issues were all women.